Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you about another decision that's extremely important to make when you're out in the field. Just as important as choosing the right firearm is choosing the right knife. And there's an endless amount of different steel types, different design types, and it goes on and on for days and days and days. Now, for example, all the different choices of blade styles that you have. Uh, for dispatching and just all around cutting and processing an animal, my favorite is just a fillet knife, a fishing fillet knife. It works great out in the field, even for going inside ribs of elk. Taking all that meat out of there so that you can debone it right there in the field. And I've dispatch by cutting plenty of throats, but my favorite way to dispatch is just to poke right behind the neck and separate the spinal column. It drops the animal instantly and painlessly, and so this knife for me, this is my choice. If I had a choice of any knife to use out in the field, this is the one it would be for me, as a fillet knife. So again, just figure out what you're doing, and then figure out what knife is best for you. Anyhow, I'm going to keep it pretty basic. I'm just going to go over a few different types of knives and try to give you a roundabout idea about what you need to know to make the right decision for you. So first off, I wanted to talk about a few commercial knives. If you're hunting, this is kind of a standard look for a commercial / utilitarian knife. This is a Camillus knife, and it's 440 stainless. Not the greatest. It's a El Cheapo, and it does okay on some things, but you get what you pay for. It's not going to be completely outstanding. A knife like this is an old timer, a Schrade old timer, and it is an old timer. And this is even older. This is a very old school Puma. And you show anybody in the knife community any one of these knives, and they immediately get a lot of respect. They're both made in America, and they're from a bygone era where they don't make knives this quality anymore. I've used both these knives processing animals out in the field, and both of these are beyond outstanding. They are amazing. But you're not going to find knives of this quality anymore. It's really rare. This is the closest I've come. Got this for one of my anniversaries, and this is a SOG, and anyhow, this SOG still makes a decent knife. They're not made in America anymore. This one happens to be made in Taiwan. When I saw that stamp on there, I thought this is going to be terrible, but it actually isn't bad. I've processed probably at least 75% of the animals I've ever gotten. I've processed with this knife. It's easy to sharpen. It takes an edge pretty easy and stays sharp for a lot longer than most of your commercial knives that you're going to find today. So I've been real happy with that one. Now, a lot of your commercial knives are going to be soft steel, so real easy to sharpen, and they're going to hold an edge decently long. You're going to have all your sharpening instruments along with you, which I have in this bag. I just bring this whole bag with me when I go hunting, so I have a lot of choices of knives. I've got all my sharpening utensils in the bag, and here's some other options for you. If you want to go hard steel, really hard steel, this is high carbon blades, and these blades were made by a friend of mine. The downside to a high carbon blade, it's going to hold its edge, and it's going to hold an edge way better than any of these commercial knives, but the downside is they're real high maintenance. You got to take care of them. You got to keep them oiled. You got to keep them out of moisture. They rust very easily. But this blade, this was a gift from a good friend of mine named Roy Dunn, who owns Old Town Schmitty Knife Company, and he made this for me. This is an elk that I had gotten, and he made just made the whole knife for me with that handle. And he also made this one for me. And the cool thing about this is I have this to remember the hunt by and to remember that he made this for me. And this particular elk was rubbing on an alder tree, which stained the antlers bright red. So this is just really cool. It's a really rare showpiece. I've used all these knives processing animals out in the field, and like I said, as soon as you get blood on them, you got to get the blood off, because the combination of that with the salt, it just corrodes your blades really quick. Cool thing is, it's not pretty. You can throw it on a bench grinder, grind all that rust right off, put some oil on it, and just take care of it. But you can't let them sit at all. Here's another. This is a high carbon blade made just for skinning, and it's the same thing. It real hard steel, but you got to take care of it. I've taken my eye off the ball on this one, and it's just been sitting, and it's developing rust. So I've got to take care of that. I got this in Alaska, and I've used it. It's okay for certain things that it does. I'm not real thrilled about that. Here's some experimental knives. My buddy Roy made this for me out of a bastard file. And I just like saying bastard because I can get away with it. It's not a cuss word when you use it in that sense. Anyhow, extremely hard steel, and it cuts like nobody's business. But what Roy did is he left it soft on the outer edge here and just made the edge hard. He tempered the edge hard so that you can get the hardness without the knife being too brittle, so you can drop it and it won't shatter or break on you. So that I've used that. It's a pretty good knife. But as you guys know, I've always been a sucker for versatility. Love versatility out in the field. And this is my Kershaw setup here. And cool thing about the Kershaw setup is I've got all my different blades here. I've got one handle. I've got a cook's blade, a bread knife, fillet knife. I've got a couple of different saws in here, and my carving knife, and a utility knife, which is a serrated blade. And then I've got this really cool sheath for it. It's got a hunting blade on there, and then it's got a Skinner blade on here. So just a lot of versatility for me out in the field that I can use this blade for. So yeah, just make the right decision for you. If you're out in the field and you have a knife that goes dull on you, it can be a pain to sharpen it. So you've got a choice. You can go out with one that's going to stay sharp longer, like a high carbon knife, but just be aware that it's going to take a lot more maintenance on that knife. And a lot of the times it's worth spending the money on a knife. It's worth getting that brand name knife. I always wanted to stay away, as a rule, anything from China, but China is up in their game. They're getting better, and a lot of high dollar American companies are going to China, and so I don't know what to say about it anymore. I honestly don't. It's not the same animal as it was at one time. So anyhow, I'm going to go out in the field. I'm going to show you guys some older footage of some commercial knives and some of Roy's knives that we played with and did some comparisons, and so we'll go from there. Yeah, you got him. All right, let's. Okay, this is infomercial for Roy Dunn's Old Town Smitty Knives. Buddy Dan just got a deer here, so we're going to test out those knives and see if the old school way works, and if it doesn't, then I'll go to the Kershaw backup. This is Roy Dunn's Old Town Smitty Bowie knife. Let's see how well this thing works. Wow.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that is nice. Wow. I think Roy hit a home run. You got that saw, right?
Mm-hmm. Can we get that put together?
I'm gonna need to cut the stern open here in a minute. All these organs are coming loose real nice. This blade is really working well. Really nice. Really nice job. That's as fast. You think you'll want the heart?
I don't know. You set it aside.
Hey, I'm like a Syrian soldier. This is nice. It's just cutting everything loose. You see how easy this is coming? Okay, watch for that liver. Where is it? The skin is just usually time consuming. Yeah, this thing needs sharpening. Yeah, dang it. I don't have any. Yeah, I actually got this thing doled up. Fat does it pretty quick. It's amazing to me how fast fat really does a number on a blade. Alright, that was a successful skinning job. And I did it with Roy's Bowie knife here and his Skinner.